Welcome to Frenkel Frenkel. I'm a partner, Scott Frenkel.
And I'm partner Gene Burkett. And today we're going to start by talking about auto insurance. Most people don't have any idea what coverages are, what they have, and what they need.
Or even what they do.
Correct. So let's start talking about that. Basic liability. Everybody has to have it. Liability insurance means if you get in a wreck, your insurance company is going to pay for the other guy's car damages and their personal injuries up to whatever your limits are, which can be as low as $30,000 and into the millions of dollars.
And the reason you say $30,000 is because by law, that's the state minimum.
That is the state minimum for injuries. The state minimum for property damage is $25,000, which sounds like a lot of money, but it's really not when you start talking about big injuries and big damages to cars. So if the other guy doesn't have enough insurance,
we go to the underinsured, uninsured motorist coverage. And interestingly, those are not automatically in the same amount as your liability coverage.
Uninsured, underinsured is something that most drivers don't have, but it's critical to have. Most people are under the impression that if you get hit by someone and they don't take care of you, your own insurance company will. But that's not the case. If you don't have uninsured, underinsured motorist coverage and you get hit by a driver with no insurance, which is about 1 in 5 people in Dallas-Fort Worth these days, you're just out of luck. So it's critical to carry that coverage.
It's true. What I've found is a lot of people will just take liability coverage in the state minimum because, let's be honest, these are tough economic times and it's the least expensive route. But that can really come back to bite you.
Uninsured, underinsured is not something you want to cut a cost on, because then you're out without a car, you can't get to work, you're hurt, so you need that coverage. There's additional coverages you can get to help you medically.
Right, you can get personal injury protection, or which is also called PIP. There's also a lesser known one called MedPay. Those are no-fault provisions, and they pay usually in $2,500 increments. $2,500 is the least you can get. Some companies will go up into the hundreds, thousands of dollars of personal injury protection. Like you yourself have that, right?
Right, and it varies from company to company what you can get. But number one, get your declaration page, also referred to as a deck page. You can get that online in the app. You can get it from your insurance agent and see what kind of coverages you have and make sure you understand them. And if you don't understand them, ask your agent, ask an attorney, but understand what's going on because it can be critical.
And as with most things, don't try and do it yourself if you're making a claim because there are nuances to it. For example, if you try and make an underinsured motorist claim without getting permission from an adverse carrier to do so first, you may lose your right. A lot of people think that when their car is totaled and it takes time to get it resolved or it's in a pound or whatever, that they're entitled to loss of use on that vehicle. There's a Texas Supreme Court case that says no, once they declare your car a total loss, you're not entitled to loss of use anymore.
And I don't know if you mentioned it, but going back to that personal injury protection, it does pay for medical bills, but a lot of times in these wrecks, you're unable to work. And while the other side may be responsible for those lost wages, they're not going to pay them till the end of the case, which could be a year or two away. But that personal injury protection will cover lost wages as well. So helps keep the money coming in if you're unable to work at the beginning of a case.
Yeah, that's true. And that's just for processing a potential settlement of the case. If your case goes into litigation, a lawsuit, the time takes much longer.
I mean, let's just start from the beginning. So you're in a wreck. What do? Well, first thing is you make sure you're safe. If you're in the middle of a road and there's trucks buzzing by you, you don't want to get hit. So make sure you're safe. Well, you call the police. And you do everything you can to get the police to come out and do a report because that's going to show who's at fault if it's a dispute. It's harder and harder to get officers to come out to do a report these days. If you're not hurt, if you're not blocking the road, they often don't come out. So then the onus is on you to collect information that's going to help you in that case.
And if they do not come out, we highly recommend you can actually go into a police station and fill out your own report. We recommend doing that because there should be some memorialization of the event.
In these situations, your cell phone's often your best friend too. As soon as you're done, come to rest, you're getting out talking to the other driver, start filming. You're allowed to do it. They may not be crazy about it, but get them to admit fault. Let's take a video of the scene of the cars. People lie at wrecks all the time. Try to get pictures of driver's license, get pictures of license plates, get pictures of their insurance card so you know who you're dealing with. Any information you can get, you can't gather too much information. If you don't use it, okay, but better to have it and not need it than the other way around. You want to call an attorney early, and don't make the mistake of thinking that the other guy's insurance company is there to help you because they want to help you. They don't. They don't want to pay money. They don't want to have to pay you a penny if they can keep from it. So don't give them a statement before you talk to an attorney. They're going to try to twist it and use it to their advantage. They're asking questions not to find out what happened. They probably already know what happened. They've talked to their insured. They're trying to get you to say something they can use against you. So consult with an attorney before you give a statement.
That brings up a really good point, because in finding an attorney, and of course, we love helping people, but there are, unfortunately, bad apples in every profession. And there's a thing called case running that is prevalent, and it's unfortunately becoming worse. It is attorneys who improperly, they violate the law in contacting collision victims.
It's a crime called barratry is the name of the crime. And an attorney is not allowed to directly contact you by phone or in person after an accident. 30 days after the accident, they can send you a letter. But there are people, as he said, unscrupulous attorneys and organizations that work for these attorneys that will get data. They may do it through reports. They may do it through record drivers. They may do it through a number of other people who come in contact with accident victims and get the information. And then sometimes they'll just knock on your door. Sometimes they'll call you. Recently, I talked to a woman who called asking about hiring our firm. And I started talking to her. And I said, have you talked to her? She said, well, yes, I kind of hired one in Houston, and this wreck was in Dallas. I said, how did that happen? She said, well, I got a call from the police department to ask me if I was okay. And I said, well, I kind of banged up. And they said, well, let us transfer you to someone that can help you. Would you like that? And she said, sure. Well, it wasn't the police report, or it wasn't the police department calling to see if they were okay and trying to get her medical help. Police don't do that. It was someone posing as an officer. So you call an attorney. What does that mean? Well, they're going to take your case and they're going to be your representative and they're going to help you. That means answer your questions about your car, answer your questions about rental car, be involved in any statement that's given if there's a statement given. They're going to answer all your basic questions. They've got networks of doctors. We have networks throughout DFW and beyond of doctors that we've worked with for almost 30 years that know that when we tell them we're going to get them paid, we get them paid. And they see you if you don't have health insurance, and they'll do whatever you need to do. So whoever you hire, make sure they're a legitimate attorney that's got your best interests, that does good work. Of course, we'd love to help you.